Hey again, Tia with FitPro coming at you today with front raises. Okay, front raises, there's a lot of ways to do these. You can use a lot of different pieces of equipment, which I'll show you here in a second. Front raises work the anterior deltoid or the front delt. It's something that can be functional in certain movements like an incline press or shoulder work. It also looks great in the mirror, so why not train it a little bit extra? Front raises are one of my favorite ways to hit the front delt. So let's look at the equipment that I've got here. So the plate can be used, right? If you watch my videos on bus drivers, I love to use the ability for this to twist and turn on bus drivers, but plates are a fine option for equipment. You can of course use a fixed barbell like this with a pronated or a supinated grip, right? And come up like so, okay? I myself am a fan the most of dumbbells. Dumbbells allow for each shoulder to kind of move independently in a world where 1 out of 2 people have a shoulder problem that they either know of or is brewing underneath the surface. I think it's best to let your shoulders breathe a little bit, and so I prefer dumbbells personally. You can change your grip depending on what your shoulder likes. You can go underhand, neutral, overhand, whatever variation your shoulder tolerates best. I usually end up going neutral like this. Okay, and so the mechanics are relatively simple. You want to stand grounded, squeeze the glutes and the abs, right? Glutes and abs. We don't want you hyperextending like this when you're lifting, okay? So glutes and abs, everything down the middle, nice and tight. All right, from here, chin stays neutral. If you've been watching my videos, you know all about the neutral chin by now. And all you're gonna do is raise up like so, okay? I do recommend going up to about 45 degrees off the shoulder up to about here, okay? Again, if you have shoulder problems, go as high as your shoulder will tolerate. There have been times in the past where if my shoulder's really angry, I can only get up to 90 degrees on the shoulder, and so be it, right? Go as high as you can. If you can get up to 45 degrees off the shoulder, then that's the full range of movement. Go ahead and do it. Keys to this movement are, number 1, don't come up through your elbows, right? If you're coming up through the biceps and extending at the top, then you're missing the shoulder, right? All your movement should come from right here, right? So watch your biceps, watch your elbows, number 1. Number 2, watch your float. A lot of people generate a lot of momentum down here where they're really strong, and then the weight tends to float through the top range of movement. And so you're missing a lot of tension there, okay? So keep the tension, keep your grip connected all the way up, all right? And then on the way down, make sure that you're not just dropping, right? That eccentric or lowering phase is really important for loading tension, right? Most people are doing this movement to build muscle. And so eccentric loading is a fantastic way, or loading your muscle more on the way down is a fantastic way to ensure more time under tension, AKA better muscle build. For somebody with tiny shoulders, I have to always work to pull out all the tricks that I can to make my shoulders grow, okay? So don't miss that eccentric loading as well, okay? So now as far as bilateral raising versus alternating, right? I recommend raising both for as long as you can, okay? So if this is a difficult weight for me, I might do part of my set both, and then when it starts to get heavy, I might go to unilateral going here, right? Giving that other shoulder a little bit of rest while the other shoulder is working, okay? So as your weight gets heavier, I think it's perfectly acceptable, depending on the rep scheme and what you're trying to do, to go to single raises at a time, okay? Now, one more thing I want to say here, excuse me, is cheat reps, okay? So I'm of the school of thought that cheat reps can still be reps, okay? If let's say I'm doing a weight that's very difficult for me, maybe 25 pounds. If I'm swinging a good amount to get that weight up like this, my form isn't very strict. Let's say I'm only getting 40% work out of those cheat reps. That 40% at 25 is worth more than 70% or 80% at 20s, right? Because of the increased weight, if that makes sense, right? So cheat reps can still be reps on some moves, especially one like this where there's not a lot at stake, right? Squats, deadlifts, more complicated moves, I wouldn't recommend cheat reps, but something here, you'll often see me cheating to swing up heavier weight with great mind-muscle connection and great tension, because there's not a lot at stake. I'm really aware of my shoulders, and there is some value in those cheat reps, okay? So this is one of the moves that I would recommend exploring that, as long as you feel comfortable with your technique and with the integrity of your shoulders, okay? A lot of possibilities here on the front raise pattern. Enjoy.